Welcome to our discussion today. Today we are taking quadratic equations by factorization. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand what a quadratic equation is, solve quadratic equation using factorization methods, apply step-by-step methods confidently, practice solving similar problems. So, if we are asked what is a quadratic equation, what will you say? By definition, a quadratic equation is an equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. Then, why do we use factorization method to solving a quadratic equation? Factorization method is writing the quadratic expression as a product of two binomials, writing the quadratic expression as a product of two binomials. In this case, as you can see, we can split the given equation into two products, as you can see here. Then the set we will obtain should lead to the solution. So as we have stated here, then set each factor to 0 to solve for x. Then you set each factor to 0 to solve for x. Example 1, we have x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. So when you look at this equation, what we need to do, want to split it into two linear equation. To element, we want to split it into two linear equation. So we are looking for a situation where x will lead to two values. So now look for two numbers that multiply to give 6. And when you add the number, you have 5. Look for two numbers. When you multiply, you have 6. When you add them, you have 5. This number clearly are 2 and 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And 2 plus 3 is 5. So going with this, we'll rewrite this equation to include these two numbers, 2 and 3. So the factor now is x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals, you can see what is happening here, x plus 2 in bracket, and you open another bracket, x plus 3. If you open this expression, if you expand this, it will lead you to this result on your left hand side. It will lead you to the expression on your left hand side. So now set each factor to 0. You set this to 0, you set this to 0. So we start with the first one, x plus 2 equals to 0. This implies x is equals to minus 2. You transfer 2 to the other side of the equation. So it will lead to minus 2. Now we also set this to 0. So x plus 3 equals 0. This implies that x is equals to minus 3. So the final answer is that x is equals to minus 3 or x is equals to minus 2. The final answer is x equals to minus 2 or x equals to minus 3. So with this, we have been able to solve this quadratic equation by factorization method. So this is a flow. We start with the given expression, x squared plus 5x plus 6. So we find factors of 6 that add to 5. Factors are 2 and 3. Write as these, x plus 2 in brackets and open that bracket, x plus 3 as a product. You now set each to 0 and solve for x. Make x the subject. So when you solve for x, The answer you'll have is that x equals to minus 2 and x equals minus 3. Now, consider another example. X squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. We are to find values of x, which this equation will be true. Find two numbers that multiplies to minus 12 and add to minus 4. Find two numbers that multiply to minus 12 and add to minus 4. These numbers are minus 6 and 12 because minus 6 times 2 equals to minus 12. Minus 6 plus 2 equals to minus 4. The factors here, we have x squared minus 4x minus 12 can be written as this. X, open bracket, x minus 6 and x plus 2. So you set each of these to 0 and solve for x. So when you set it to 0, you have x minus 6 equals to 0 implies x equals to 6. And this as well, x plus 2 equals to 0 implies x equals to minus 2. So the solution to this quadratic equation is this: x equals to 6 or x equals to minus 2. Next, this is another example similar to that. Here we are given x squared plus x minus 20 equals to 0. So you look for two numbers that multiplies to minus 20 and add to 1. Why 1? You can see we have x here. So you have to present 1. There's one coefficient here is 1. So these numbers are 5 and minus 4 because when you multiply 5 with minus 4, you will have minus 20. And when you add 5 plus minus 4, you will have 1. So we are there. So the factor expresses this. Set each factor to 0. You solve for these and you also solve for this other equation. So when you solve for these, you have that x is equals to minus 5. You solve for x minus 4 equals to 0. You will have that x is equals to 4. So the final answer for this quadratic equation is that x is equals to minus 5 or x equals to 4. This is another example. X squared minus 6x plus 9 equals to 0. So you notice that 9 is a perfect square and so is x squared. Trying factorizing as a square. So we want to factorize the quadratic equation as a square. So we have this. Truly, you can check. When you check, you will see that x minus 3 in bracket times x minus 3 in bracket will lead to x squared minus 6x plus 9. So set the squares to 0. When you set the squares to 0, you can see x is equals to 3. What do we have as a final answer? Repeated roots. So the given quadratic equation leads to a repeated root when solved for x. So these are practice problem for you. Try solving this by factorization. So we have three problems here. X squared plus 7x plus 10 equals 0. And we also have these. X squared minus 3x minus 10 equals to 0. We also have x squared minus 9 equals to 0. So solution for the first one, you can see when you try it and see, open this bracket, you'll see it will lead to the expression we have here on the left hand side. And by solving it when setting x plus 2 equals to 0 or x minus x plus 5 equals to 0, you will have x is equals to minus 2 and x equals to minus 5. Same applicable here. So we can express this as a product and we have x minus 5 and we also have x plus 2. So upon setting each to 0, we will have that x is equals to 5 or x equals to minus 2 as a result. Now for the number 3, you can see x squared minus 9 can be expressed as x minus 3 times x plus 3. And the solution here is that x is equals to 3 or minus 3. So, what do we take away from our discussion? Quadratic equations are in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Factorization involves finding two binomials that multiply to the quadratic. Always check your factors by expanding them. Set each factor to 0 to solve for x. Always remember to set each factor to 0 to solve for x. This will help you to verify, to check that the factorization you applied truly worked. So great job learning how to solve quadratic equations by factorization. Mathematics is not about numbers, equations, computation. It is about understanding. This is what Williams Paul Thorson reminds us. Keep practicing. You have got this. So, if you have enjoyed our discussion, feel free to share it with your friends to learn how to solve quadratic equations by factorization. We also have other topics on our channel. You are free to go through them to learn. If there is anywhere you have problem, use the comment section to tell us. If from in the comment section, you can also tell us another topic you want us to discuss. Thank you.